All right, so this video is describing how your blood pressure can actually make you tired. There's a couple different ways this works. The primary way it's going to make you tired is taking blood pressure meds. If you could take blood pressure meds and it does not make you tired, you're 1 in a million at this point. I mean, that is what that's going to do, no matter the medication. I've taken one medication, blood pressure med, that did not make me tired, directly tired, and that was ibisartan. So ibisartan did not make me tired. However, what it did do is make you not sleep at night, not be able to fall into a deep sleep, which in turn made you tired, just not directly tired, right? So after embarking on this blood pressure journey, I've seen a lot of people's blood pressures, a lot. And occasionally have friends coming over that are on blood pressure meds, and they're like, man, I'm so tired, I cannot get over this. I had one here yesterday, my buddies, and says, man, I'm so tired, I can't really function. I've been this way for more than a week, and I quit smoking a while back, a couple months ago, and just been low ever since. First of all, smoking does raise your blood pressure quite a bit. It makes your blood actually thicker and it makes it harder to pump. That's why it increases your risk of heart attack and stroke and all that kind of stuff too. Interesting thing about it was he was off his blood pressure meds. I said, come here and sit down. You're in Dr. Nathan's house now. Come here and sit down. Sit your ass in the chair right now. Threw the blood pressure cuff on him. Without him even relaxing, just walking in here and sitting down, I immediately threw the cuff on him. And he was 106/69. And, I'm sorry, 59. I have to look at the cuff. I think it was 59. And he was right at the peak, right at the tip on the bottom of being in the danger point of being too low. My experience is, so anybody I talk to or me myself, once your blood pressure on some people, let me roll this back a little bit. Some people have low blood pressure, just the way they are. I notice a lot more women have that than men. I don't know what the relevance is there, but a lot of women have low blood pressure. Most women I meet have low blood pressure, and their bottom number is going to get down in the 50s. And once it gets to the mid to low 50s, you're in danger. You're in danger of something not functioning correctly, a heart valve not working correctly, not closing correctly, 100 different things that could actually cause that. 103/65 was his exact blood pressure. The cuff memorized it. 65, I thought it was 59 for some reason. 103/65. So if you're a dude in your 30s or so, and your blood pressure is 103/65 and you're tired, son, let me tell you what. Is that what the problem is? Probably. So the first thing I did is said, okay, you've been eating correctly? Yes. What have you been eating? Meat and this and that? Okay. So you're probably not anemic if you're eating meat all the time. If there's nothing vastly wrong with you. If you don't have a tumor or some kind of crazy stuff going on, you're not anemic, right? If you're eating meat. And I said, have you had your iron levels checked, all your vitamins and stuff checked? He's like, yeah, but it hasn't come back yet. I said, okay, how do you feel right now? He said, tired as hell. I said, okay. I have that military caffeine gum that if you need caffeine and you don't want to drink a bunch of liquid that has other crap in it, you can chew a piece of that gum and that'll get you caffeine without a bunch of other stuff in it. So I gave a piece of that. I said, chew this. He says, oh, it tastes like crap. I said, didn't ask you what it tastes like. Wait a couple minutes and let's see if that fixes you. And a few minutes later, he says, yeah, I feel pretty much normal now. I said, okay. Did that raise your blood pressure a little bit? Probably. Combined with a little bit of caffeine. And if you go to the doctor at 103/65 on your blood pressure, they're going to say, oh, that's really good. For some people it is. There's not a lot of dudes walking around with that low blood pressure and everything's just fine and they don't feel fine, that blood pressure. What are they going to do if you say, oh, I'm tired? Probably put you on some kind of medicine, something, some other kind of med to try to fix that. You know, I don't know, maybe at the minimum give you a B12 shot or something like that, which is not going to help that situation more than likely. If it does, it'd be very short term. What I'm trying to get at in this video is your doctor is essentially one person that's trying to do the best they can to help everybody out. One person cannot handle 100 different patients or 200. You cannot spend the appropriate amount of time and care with that person to get what they need. You know, if somebody goes and gets their medicine changed, and this happens a lot, and there's no follow-up done to check everything carefully, is the medicine helping, whether it's for blood pressure, whether it's a statin, whether it's, you know, for diabetes, anything at all. Is it really helping if you don't have an immediate follow-up to tell what's going on? Who knows? Are a lot of people taking medications they don't need for years because the doctor never followed up with them? Of course they are. Of course they are. There's been a general consensus when we go back to the doctor and say, hey, this medication is having problems. I'm having problems with this. It's causing this. Most doctors will roll their eyes at you and say, oh, it's not that. If you experience that problem, the first thing I would do is pull your phone out right in front of them. They don't like that. And go on Google and type in whatever, lisinopril, whatever medication you're taking, side effects. And I have a sneaky suspicion that at the top of that list is going to be the side effect you're experiencing, right? Some people can tolerate medications that have no side effects. That's a minute minority, I can tell you right now. If you read the comments on these videos, that's an extremely minute minority that could take these medications and not have problems with them. So you have to weigh out, okay, is not taking a blood pressure med or a statin and that's killing me now by taking that, is it really going to help me down the road a minute amount? Well, you have to weigh that out. The best way to do that is go to a natural source and try to fix it naturally for medicines that don't have those kind of side effects. As you all know, we're taking, for blood pressure, for knocking that down, we use the krill oil. The krill oil, I'll put a link in the description for that, and the sea moss. The sea moss is for anxiety. Unless you're allergic to fish, do not take the krill oil, obviously. What I recommend if you're allergic to fish, the hawthorn berry. The hawthorn berry, I take that off and on. I don't really need to take that. But the other day, I was having some stomach issues. I thought, well, let me take hawthorn berry for a couple days and see if that changes anything, just to see if the krill oil has affected my stomach after taking it for so long or not. I didn't really notice any difference on that, but the hawthorn berry will keep your blood pressure down. It absolutely will, and it's very inexpensive. When we talked about salts before, if you're still using iodized table salt, throw that out. You need Celtic salt or some kind of natural salt that doesn't have a bunch of dyes and weird stuff in it. You know, we use the Celtic salt here. You could use Himalayan salt. Some of those nicer brands of that are pretty good for you too. But the very best thing you could do if you don't want to change your diet is change what you put in your diet. You're not necessarily changing the taste of anything. Change what you're putting in the foods you like to eat. And start with that. See if that helps. You know, a lot of people say, oh, raw vegetable diet, or this or that. That's a short-term fix. Let's be honest here. Who's going to eat raw vegetables for the rest of their life? Nobody. That would be an ugly, ugly life. You know, you still want a mix of vegetables, meats, cheese, and fish. You know, everybody kind of wants that availability or that change in diet. It all goes to what you're cooking with. You know, like I said, the salt. Another one is the oil. I preach this all the time in these videos. If you're using vegetable oil, or even worse, canola oil, that is going to kill you. I'm not joking. You know, back when I was a kid, everybody used vegetable oil. And I know that was back when everything was black and white, right? That was what everybody used. That was the cheapest thing to buy. That's what you used. And then sometime in the 90s, canola oil became popular. And a lot of people thought My mother included thought that if you change from vegetable oil to canola oil, that is going to help you. Canola oil has gotta be better, right? So, as a teenager, I ate that for 10 or so years. Not that we had that much fried stuff anyway, but when there was fried stuff, it'd be fried in canola oil. And it wasn't long into that, it came out that canola oil hardens your arteries. It causes plaque buildup. And I saw that back in the late 90s. And over I said something to my mother about it, and we had some relatives that also used that. Oh, all of a sudden I was a bad guy. You don't know. You're not a doctor. As we see on here, you're not a doctor. Yeah, but my brain is a research brain, and I do tons of research, and I see what's out there, and I've had a lot of experience with blood pressure and issues. And, I think it gives some kind of street cred about this situation, especially about blood pressure, right? Remember, when you watch these videos, I've taken more blood pressure meds than your doctor's ever taken or ever even thought about, right? So they could say, this don't work, that don't work. Oh, well, okay. Does it or does it not? You never taken it, so how would you know? And I could say, okay, I've taken all of them, so I can tell you right now. And so the latest change I made in the late 90s was over to olive oil. And back then you couldn't really buy high dollar olive oil easily. And now you can. So everything is used with that. And like I said, or Celtic salt. And try to watch sugars a little bit. Right now, I'm at the point in my life, if I eat a bunch of sugar and stuff, I just don't feel good. If I eat a bunch of grains, if I eat like very many those pre-made little wafer bars, peanut butter wafer bars, or a protein bar, I just don't feel good. And if you're sitting at home watching this right now and you don't feel good, don't just sit there and not feel good. Go figure it out. You have to figure it out. Nobody out there is going to help you figure stuff out. You have to experiment yourself and figure out what's causing you problems. Will getting up and running on a treadmill make you feel better? It could possibly make you feel better. Maybe you should try it. That's just my thoughts about it. If you're eating pre-made stuff, America is the worst place in the world to eat pre-made food. Everything's pre-made. Everything's got chemicals in it. Everything's got preservatives in it. And it is a struggle trying to find good quality food. All of our fruits and vegetables are sprayed with herbicides and pesticides. Everything has dyes sprayed on them, wax sprayed on them in the store. Everything you see in the grocery store is not how it's supposed to look. And everything's picked very green too. If you pick something green off a plant and it ripens up in a warehouse somewhere in a dark box, it's not going to have the nutrients that you need in it. And I talk many times about my greenhouse. I have tomatoes and all kinds of other stuff growing in there. I try to let stuff vine ripen as much as I can, because I know for a fact you're going to have more nutrients in a vine ripened tomato or a vine ripened fruit versus something you picked off, set in your windowsill totally green. And you notice in the taste of stuff. This goes the same with chicken and beef. All the stuff you see in the store and the trade, no matter if it says organic or not, most of that chicken's sprayed with bleach and other stuff to make it look better longer. It really is disgusting if you really think about it. Everything's driven off the dollar. What can save me 2 cents if I do this, or $2 per pack of chicken if I spray this on it? I could keep it for a month longer to sell it. Beef, a lot of the beef now is sprayed with red dyes to make it look red. I have some questions about some of the stuff at Aldi's that I get some of the meat. It looks too red. Why does it look so damn red? Why does it last long in the refrigerator? How come when I eat that stuff, I don't feel great? Versus eat beef somewhere else that's known, I don't have that problem. There's a lot of stuff to ask there, for sure. But I'm just telling you, if you're at home, and you're feeling tired, you're not feeling well, take these videos I made over the last couple of months and go watch those videos. Do yourself a favor. This is the realest stuff on YouTube. Go watch those, and chances are, if you look through those videos, you'll be able to actually figure out why you're feeling bad, and you can stop feeling bad without going to take more and more and more pills. Everything I recommend on here is all natural stuff. It's not some pharmaceutical stuff that's going to give you 1,000 side effects. Most of this stuff does not have any effect on your system or how you feel, except to make you feel better. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this helps. I'm trying to be as genuine as I can on here, trying to help people out. YouTube's turned me off the algorithm. very frustrating. I have a lot of good info out here and people just aren't seeing it. So give the video a like, you know, make a comment, tell me your situation, your story. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have somebody struggling with blood pressure or other issues, recommend these videos to them. This can actually save lives. That's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.